Drop ahead of next year's council polls in Ondo State. Environmental offenders land in Ondo court over illegal dumping of waste. Troops rescue kidnapped from the foreign scene. France raises security level after school knife attack. Osrc News at 7. My name is Arivisala. As the Ondo State Independent Electoral Commission (ODEC) prepares for the February 17, 2024 council election, more clarification into the new local council development area polls have emerged. The ODEC chairman, Dr. Joseph Varemo, said election for the position of councillors will hold in the existing 203 wards across the state, as these wards are now subsumed in the 33 new LCDAs and the 18 local government areas. There's more in this report. Has been set in more for the conduct of local elections state, with the State Independent Electoral Commission (ODEC) making public guidelines and official schedule of activities. Next year's election for the third tier of government in the state is eroded by development, which is a creation of 33 local council development areas alongside the existing 18 local government areas. This new development, however, draws different reactions and concerns from some of the political parties that have indicated interest to contest for available positions.
Operationally, there are some LCDAs that are going to have only 2 wards, and those 2 wards are going to constitute the legislative council of that LCDA. Are we making mockery of democracy, or are we making mockery of ourselves? I see a lot of competition of this. But because they have insisted they are going to conduct the election, and we had earlier on indicated interest to participate, we can no longer back out or back down, so we are going to participate. So that's how it stands.
While the administration of these new LCDAs, the emplacement of required facilities, as well as manpower for a smooth takeoff remain the election into ensuring a smooth.
It will be passed across to the electorate at the grassroots levels. I mentioned earlier that a couple of NGOs will be going out to key important senatorial areas within Ondo State, going into sensitive areas, going to villages, going into towns to speak to people.
ODEC chairman Joseph Varemo sheds more light on the planned exercise, emphasizing that elections for the position of councillors will only be held across the existing 203 wards, and chairman will be casted 18 local government areas. CTA
mandate is to conduct election. What happened about the administration is not our business. But as a lawyer, let me tell you this: what you are doing, what you are going to do, is not new in the country. Lagos State has done it before. Even Ekiti here, Ekiti State has done it in the past, and they also preparing for another election. We have 2 or 3 wards in the state, and by implication, we have 2 or 3 councillors. Creating SCDA will not affect the position of the councillors. For example, you have 3 councillors cash out from the old local government to form a new SCDA. It means that we have 3 councillors in the newly created SCDA. That's how it operates. There's no problem.
It doesn't necessarily bring governance closer to people, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, for all I care, with the 33 LCDs, you might even raise much more. Some people might how can they have LCD? I still don't know it. We already flying about this. No. What is
some is expressed in as with a view to fielding candidates for the context.
We are fully prepared, let me say. And you should know, before now, the election has been postponed. Even before then, we've made some preparation. ahead that very election that was postponed.
In the schedule of events, the campaign for the election is November 17, 2023 and end by February 15, 2024. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc. Ondo State government says it will not relent in its efforts to make Akure one of the cleanest state capital in the country. General Manager, Ondo State Waste Management Authority, Adefolaju Omowale, who spoke to journalists after monitoring an enforcement exercise in Akure, the state capital, decried the filthy nature of the environment. The report is presented from the studio.
Incessant of waste on major highways in Akure, the state capital, it's imperative for enforcement team of Ondo State Waste Management Authority to be out at this time to arrest the perpetrators of the ugly trend. It was a hectic task for the enforcement team as they positioned themselves at strategic locations along the roads to ensure compliance with environmental laws. General Manager of Ondo State Waste Management Authority, Adefolaju Omowale, who bemoaned the filthy nature of men, are out day and night to arrest anyone
enough in the morning or late in the evening, they will bring the waste and they will come and dump it along the road corridor. So we don't allow such behavior or negative attitude to continue. So we have to match it up with them by going out earlier, also enough in the morning and late in the evening to arrest anyone caught in such act.
Mr. Omowale, who stressed the need for proper counterization of waste, warned residents against indiscriminate dumping of refuse.
We've been making the announcement for people to dispose their waste appropriately. And how do you do that? By having what we call the prescribed or acceptable waste storage facility. It can be a dustbin, it can be trash bags and all that. But what is certified that will be able to effectively and properly contain your waste that you are generating. And we are still going to continue until this menace is eradicated.
The state governor, Arakunoluwariti has given the mandate to our general manager, Mr. Omowale, to ensure that the street of Akure and all the town in Ondo clean.
Prosecution, where the prosecutor, Ogedembe, has showed Ondo State regulators one of the cleanest throughout the Federation Court.
Now to Lagos State. Lagos State government has announced an immediate closure of Mile 12 International and Owode Oniri markets over filthy and various environmental infractions. The markets closed in a joint operation carried out by enforcement officers from Lagos Waste Management Authority, Lawman, Environmental Sanitation Corps, KAI, on the directives of the Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahan. On the zero for filth in all markets, sanitation markets, cleanliness and environmental were essential for the CET. We're going to break now. We'll be back with more stories. Please stay.
Hey, it's Kilo. How are you doing? Farabalẹ̀. 1,000. We go wash plate tire. Farabalẹ̀ now.
Madam, hello lówó wa.
Brother, na 3,005.
Màá fún yín ní owó pé káàdì Glo ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀rún 10,000.
Oh yeah.
Bring your phone.
Ha! 10,000.
10,000. already. Now you turn to 10,000.
No. All of us don't know about Glow Berekete. Ní ìlọ́po mẹ́wàá nísìnyí.
Ṣé o ti gbọ́? Ìlọ́po mẹ́wàá ló máa gbà lórí iyekíye tó o bá rà sórí ohun ìpè Glow Berekete 10 times rẹ.
I told you. Now what go tell?
His Royal Majesty Ọba Michael Ọbátúgà Tóyè Ògúngbèmí First, the Jẹ́gun of Ìdèpé Òkìtìpupa, cordially invite the general public to his 20 years coronation anniversary, Monday 16 October 2023, Christian prayer by 4 p.m. at Jẹ́gun Palace, Tuesday 17 sports activity time by 3 p.m. at Government Field, Wednesday 18 by 10 a.m. Lecture will be delivered by Professor Lukoya Ogen. Government of Chieftains will come up on Thursday 19 by 10 a.m. at Obas Palace, 4 p.m. Friday 20th Muslim prayer at Obas Palace, Saturday 24th coronation anniversary by 11 a.m. at Government Field Okitipupa. Reception follow immediately. Sunday 22nd Thanksgiving service by 9 a.m. at Redeemed Holiness Cathedral. Let's dine and wine together. Come, let's celebrate our King. Long life and prosperity. Chief Dr. Edi Olafeso, the Olorogo of Ìdèpé Òkìtìpupa. Chief host
Chief Mrs. Dele Fashakin, JP and family.
Announcer.
Thanks for rejoining us on Osrc News at 7. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. Now to more stories. The Ondo State government says human trafficking would no longer be tolerated in the state. The State Commissioner for Regional Integration and Diaspora Relations, Prince Boye Olobese, spoke during a one-day workshop themed Human Trafficking, a Crime Against Humanity, Securing the Future of Our Youths at Adekunle Ajasin University, Akumbakoko, Ondo State. Our correspondent, Kulia Rio, reports that the Commissioner also restated government's will to hold perpetrators accountable.
Nigeria is a source, transit and destination country for women and children subjected to trafficking in persons, including forced labor and forced prostitution. Statistics show that Nigerians accounted for 21% of the 181,000 migrants that arrived in Italy through the Mediterranean in 2016, and about 21,000 Nigerian women and girls have been trafficked to Italy since 2015. And Ondo State, being an integral part of the country, is not immune. To reverse this trend, the Ondo State government, through the Ministry of Regional Integration and Diaspora Relations, embarked on public sensitization to combat the menace. The latest talk is to stakeholders in Akumbakoko community in Ondo State. The Commissioner for Regional Integration and Diaspora Relations, Prince, said the workshop became imperative to address the increasing cases of human trafficking and irregular migration of youth, which has become a major issue of concern to both individuals and government. It's no doubt and a deliberate.
Kí kó máa ṣe àbójútó àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa tó ṣe pé àwọn fẹ́ kúrò ní ìlú lọ sí òkè òkun. A tún wá ń fi àsìkò yìí náà ń pàrọ̀ fún àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa náà. These are the school tí òbí tó ti náwó lé lórí kẹ́tì ẹ̀gbá degree náà. Kó tó di pé ẹ fẹ́ máa ṣe pé ẹ fẹ́ máa ronú pé ẹ fẹ́ máa travel. Tó bá di pé ẹ fẹ́ máa travel, I'm sure the information wà ní ministry wa program tẹ̀lé apply sí.
In his keynote address, National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Efe Rika,
Ondo and Niger State indigenes were the most prominent
in fighting the hydra-headed monster called human trafficking.
The workshop also discussed efforts at improving the organizational, operational, and management capacities of agencies to deal with cases of trafficking.
Has endorsed the use of sign language during legislative proceedings. Chairman represented the readiness of the House of Representatives to amend the National Health Insurance Fund to incorporate the interest of PWDs in the country. President Bola Tinubu has directed speedy action to facilitate the establishment of technology and innovative centers across the 6 geopolitical zones to promote economic diversification of the country. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology Uche Nanji gave the indication during the facility tour at the Technology and Innovation Center of Raw Materials Research and Development Council in Abuja. The minister said the innovation centers, when established, will ensure access to modern technologies to enable the country to benefit from groundbreaking innovations. The minister added that the establishment of the technology and innovative centers would also help transition Nigeria from a resource-based to a knowledge-driven economy. Nanji further explained that the centers will establish a fund. IMF has commended the Central Bank of Nigeria's decision to remove restrictions on 43 items previously restricted from accessing foreign exchange at the official window. The IMF also acknowledged the newly appointed officials under President Bola Tinubu have initiated a series of reforms aimed at delivering favorable outcomes for Nigerians. It, however, noted that the reforms may require time to achieve the desired results. At the ongoing World Bank and the IMF meetings, World Bank President Ajay Banga praised the ingenuity of Nigerian entrepreneurs, saying that he feels their yearnings to contribute to the growth of society. Banga also harped on the need to enhance tax reforms so as to improve revenue generation, create more fiscal space, and reduce its burden of servicing and acquiring debts. Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission says production of oil would hit 2 million barrels by the end of this year. The Commission also insisted that the production would cross over to 4 million barrels per day in the medium term, following a series of efforts being made. Speaking at a stakeholders forum in Abuja, where industry players gathered for a week-long deliberation on 7 new regulations, Chief Executive of NUPRC, Benga Komalafe, said challenges hindering production from the deep water assets were being tackled. According to him, the country would rely on production from every available acreage to achieve the target. Nigeria's oil production remains dismal at 1.3 million barrels per day amidst theft and vandalism. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says it is working with the National Health Insurance Authority to ensure a sustainable access to affordable and acceptable quality medicine for citizens. According to NAFDAC, the partnership would help strengthen local pharmaceutical manufacturers, reduce the proliferation of substandard and falsified medical products, and ultimately guarantee medicine security in the country. Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeye, at the joint press conference with our NHI counterpart, Professor Mohammed Sambo in Abuja, noted that under the NHIA Medicine Supply Initiative, 33 drugs will be branded with NHI inscription, and NAFDAC through the Directorate of Registration and Regulatory Affairs to ensure that appropriate and adequate labeling of the medicines are met in line with the agency's requirements and in accordance with NHIA guidelines. Adeye noted that the drive to guarantee security has been a deliberate and intentional effort by NAFDAC in the past 5 years and continues to be on the forefront burner to ensure that pharmaceutical companies and their facilities are fit for purpose. The Minister of Agriculture, Abubakar Okiari, says efforts being made by the federal government would end the importation of wheat seeds in the next 4 to 5 years, noting that the importation was gulping the country's foreign reserves. He also said the federal government was giving out 50% subsidy to wheat farmers in the upcoming dry season to ensure massive production of the grains in the country. Kiari spoke to journalists shortly after inspecting assorted seed wheat productions in Kano, as he expressed satisfaction that the local production was the vital component of the farming. He explained that President Bola Tinubu's renewed agenda was aimed at making sure that Nigeria secured food production. The Nigerian Army says its troops have rescued 6 kidnapped victims and neutralized 1 bandit in Kaduna State. Deputy Director, Army Public Relations in Division 1, Musa Yahya, confirmed the development in Kaduna. Lieutenant Colonel Yahya said the ongoing clearance operation by the troops of the division had continued to yield positive results. They charged the troops to continue the aggressive tempo until all criminal elements in the division's area of responsibility are completely eradicated. Yahya also appealed to all paramedics to be on the lookout for persons with gunshot wounds and report to the Nigerian Army and other sister security services for prompt action. Now to the foreign scene, the French Prime Minister has put the country on its highest state of counter-terrorism alert after an assailant fatally stabbed a teacher and seriously wounded 2 others. Witnesses say the knife man shouted Allahu Akbar or God is greatest during the attack at a school in Arras, northern France. The arrested attacker is of Chechen origin and known to the security services for his involvement with Islamist extremism. 7,000 soldiers were mobilized for increased security patrols, and Paris Louvre Museum was closed for security reasons. Rescuers struggle with dwindling fuel and lack of equipment in Gaza. Palestinian rescue workers Ibrahim Hamdan has been on duty almost constantly since Saturday, dodging Israelis' airstrikes that have killed paramedics, even as his team tries to pull survivors from houses destroyed by the relentless pounding of the tiny enclave. Israel's bombardment of Gaza began soon after the armed wing of the militant Islamic group, Hamas, governing the enclave, smashed through barriers to send hundreds of fighters marauding through Israeli towns, killing 1,200 soldiers and civilians, including children. Adiruke Kolaole has an update.
A Gaza rescue team rushes to the scene after Israeli airstrikes hit another neighborhood. One of its members is Ibrahim Hamdan. It has been on duty almost non-stop since October 7, when Israel's bombardment of Gaza began, hours after Hamas militants rampaged through Israel's town, killing civilians. Hamdan said he is attending about 10 calls a day, some lasting hours. He tried to talk to his wife and 6 children using video calls between rescues.
صراحة يعني بشوفهم على الانترنت، يعني اولادي بتصل عليهم بشوفهم هيك ومشتاقين لك يا بابا وبدنا اياك تعال ارجع على البيت يا بابا. طب يا بابا ماشي انا في عملي انا في شغلي، حبيبي يا بابا، يعني الكلام اللي انتم عارفينه. لكن والله مشتاق لهم وبصراحة يعني مشتاق لاولادي، مشتاق لزوجتي، مشتاق لاهلي، مشتاق لامي. طبعا هذا شعور من 4 أيام ل5 أيام. شو يعني الانسان، احنا بشر في الاخر، بنشتاق لاهالينا وبنشتاق لاولادنا يعني.
Israel's bombardment came after Hamas sent hundreds of fighters into Israel, where they 1,300 people in their homes, on the streets and at a rave. Israel's airstrikes are the most intense it has ever directed at Gaza, home to 2.3 million people. Local health authorities say more than 1,500 people in the enclave have been killed so far. Lacking enough heavy machinery such as mechanical diggers and bulldozers, rescue workers also reliable. Falling debris injured Hamdan's left hand and wrist during a rescue attempt. He was only able to pull out the bodies of 2 guests dead in the ruins of their home in Khan Younis. A spokesperson for the Gaza Health Ministry said at least 10 medical staff members had been killed so far and 14 health facilities damaged. Hamdan said 2 of his team were injured by flying glass when an airstrike blew the windows out of their ambulance. Neither was badly hurt. Israel's armed forces did not immediately respond to comments during exhaustion has also been difficult. Hamdan and sleep no more than 2 hours over a day and night. Explosion from airstrike echo every few minutes. Hamdan said all that keeps him going is the hope of finding more survivors. Adirunke Kolawole, Osrc News.
And out to sports, Sunshine Stars Football Club have missed the chance to join Bendel Insurance at the top of the Nigeria Premier Football League after playing a 1-1 draw with Heartland of Owerri in Akure. The home team dominated all through and scored via a penalty kick for the curtain raiser. However, they missed what could have been a second goal from the spot after Yusuf Ibrahim hit the upright in the 77th minute. Heartland had 14 minutes before then from 3 matches and next play Plateau United in Jos. Before we end the news tonight, let's take another look at the major stories. Political parties in Ondo State are stepping up their preparations ahead of the council polls scheduled for February 17 next year. The Ondo State government has dragged some residents to court over illegal dumping of waste and violation of environmental offences. Troops of the Nigerian Army have rescued 6 kidnapped victims and arrested 1 bandit in Kaduna. And from the foreign scene, the French government has raised security level in the country after an insurgent attacked school children with a knife. And that's Osrc News at 7. Thanks for watching.